it doesn't like involve a meta. It just involves the luck of the draw. That's technically it. If you got the cards, you got the cards. If you don't, you don't. That's it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Budget Competitor, and today I'm joined by Mr. Brandon De La Rosa. He's got a deck I've been wanting to get on my channel for quite some time. Why don't you go and tell him what it is, man?
So I've been playing this deck for quite a while. It's just because I like it, because it doesn't like involve a meta. It just involves the luck of the draw. That's technically it. If you got the cards, you got the cards. If you don't, you don't. That's it. And what I'm playing right now is technically just Gren Maju, your typical Gren Maju. Just erase the board and play your game. That's all you're doing. So technically what I play is just your 3 normal Gren Majus.
Turn those around for the camera.
This is going to be always your heavy hitter. If you draw it, you draw it. If you don't, you don't. You really do want to see it, but it's not something that's going to win you the duel 100% of the time. It's just something that it's fun. It has big attack, and the more attack it has, the more fun you're going to have technically.
All right, man.
So you play your 3 Gren Maju, then you play your... Technically, what it is going to help you clear the board, which is Eater of Millions. Play 3 of them. This is just going to help you to, like I said, clear out the board. Anything that's on the board, attack it, banish it, face down. They can't bring it back. So that's technically what you're doing with this. Again, this is probably going to be another one of your heavy hitters, because you're going to clear out boards. Next is Necroface, because this deck really does have the problem that you're going to deck out. You're going to deck out at least 60% of the time. But with Necroface, you normal summon it, and you get to start all over again. Draw your cards, you have the draw card, play it, and continue your plays as much as you can. That's the only reason why I use Necroface. I've seen others that don't use it, but like I said, I use it to rebuild my deck once again and just start all over.
Out of all the games that we had tonight, how many times would you say you decked out because you didn't get Necroface?
Probably...
Or because of Necroface, because of its banishing cost?
So that's the one drawback, that if you banish Necroface, you have to send 5 cards to the banish zone. The good thing is that it's face up. The bad thing is that probably twice tonight I decked myself out because of Necroface. But that's the only danger on it. But like I said, most of the times this is a hard going second deck. By the time you have to go to your next turn, you're gonna OTK your opponent. So it's just their turn, your turn, and it's done. That's technically what this deck does.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it does have its drawbacks.
Right.
And then this one is just everybody plays this for the Gren Maju deck, but it's what helps you draw cards is gonna be a small danger engine, which is just the 3 Bigfoot and the 3 Thunder. Like I said, you only play it to activate their effects. Activate. Special. If not, send them to graveyard. Pop a face down. Pop a face up. Whichever. And then draw your card if it does get special summon to the field. That's just a small draw engine. And the reason why you play 3 and 3 of them is because you play technically trade-in, which is send a level 8, draw 2.
Right. And since these are both level 8, I mean, it's like you get the effect to pop whatever it is and draw 2 cards. So that's nice.
So yeah, so technically you're just sending the card to the graveyard to get 2 effects. Draw, pop. The other engine I use is the level 8 Kaijus, which is going to be the Dinosaur Kaiju, which is Dogoron, Fire, and the other one is going to be the Water, Gameciel. So the reason why you use them is because both of them are level 8 and they are not dark. So if your opponent happens to open up with a Super Poly, they can't do anything to you. The other reason also...
Unless, of course, I'm running Mud Dragon, which most people right now aren't anyway.
No, but that's the other reason why you also use 3 Eaters because it cannot be used as a fusion, and even if they take it, they can't use it to link or synchro summon. So if they decide to steal it, it's just a card in their field that you can later on banish.
Okay.
Or send to the graveyard. The other thing I play is level 8 is going to be technically a hand trap to boost up your Gren Maju, because this one is a quick play to banish 8 cards to special summon it. So let's say your opponent attacks your is going to go into battle phase. You can special summon this, amp up your Gren Maju so that your opponent cannot attack your Gren Maju. And then on top of that, you have another form of interruption. So let's say they clear your board, you can special summon this either from your hand or the graveyard by banishing 8, and technically make another small wall that they're going to have to go up against. So it's just both to amp up your Gren Maju and to technically just the wall and defense.
Right.
Now, this is the setup I play for hand traps, which is not a lot. I've seen a lot of people play like Nibiru, Ashes, but I just play the 3 dimension shifters and the 3 crows. Reason until the end of your opponent's turn, anything that touches the graveyard is banished. And this one, if your opponent has, let's say they're using Thunder Dragons and they have a 1 in the graveyard, you can just go ahead and banish it so they don't have a target. Or let's say, for example, Virtual Wolves, you can also, if they have something in the graveyard they're going to try to bring back, just banish it so they have to use their trap to bring them back from the banish to the deck.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dimension Shifter, that's really good against the meta right now. I don't really know if anybody's like really even taking a look into that, but I mean, Drytron, you banish everything, and they probably just can not even try to play their turn. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Last meta, it was extremely good against Adamancipators. And
Adamancipator and Synchro Eldlich too.
Synchro Eldlich and the Turbo Dragons.
Right.
So that's what I use for hand traps. And then from on here is just your draw. Just draw, which is what you want to do in this deck to try and get to Gren Maju as much as possible. And if not, to your deck clears, which is your 3 desires and 3 tradings.
Right.
So you use those for the level 8s, which you run a lot of, and also Lure of Darkness, because most of the cards that you use are dark. So you're always going to have something to banish.
Well, here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
The new pot that's coming out, pot of, I'm blanking on the name, starts with a C. Now, would you want to replace Allure of Darkness with the new pot card that comes out? I think it's coming out on Blazing Vortex.
Not really.
No.
Why? Because you get most out of Desires because it boosts up your Gren Maju and lives your extra deck for your Eaters of Minions, and also for the effect of your what's it called?
Gizmek.
To banish from the extra deck to destroy 1 card on the field. You just pop. So I really wouldn't, because like I said, this is your bread and butter to have cards in the banish zone and just go from there. I mean, people can try it out, but I would say that having your extra deck is way better than having no extra deck whatsoever.
Right.
So that's really what I use to turbo out all my draws. And then for the last cards in my main deck, I just use board clears, which is their Interrupter Kaiju and Raigeki. So give your opponent a Kaiju. Let's say they have a Dragoon, Kaiju, activate, put another 2 Kaijus, make sure you have the Dino and Gamma Seal on their side, and just attack.
That's really good, man. Actually, like people keep trying to come up with ways to get rid of Dragoon. So I mean, that was just a way that like he just looked at him like, oh yeah, Dragoon, not a problem. Like,
So like yeah, Dragoon is an obstacle, but technically with this deck, it's.
and you're playing
It's
so
just
many, and you're playing so many ways to get around it. I
Yeah.
mean, Gren Maju
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah, and then I also have cards in the extras and the side deck that I use for Dragoon as well. But the last card would be just a Feather Duster. And that's it. Just you draw it, just wipe the backfield, and that's it.
It just feels so good to
Yeah.
have that back at one after it's been on the ban list for what 12 years now.
But if it's here, it's here. Just use it, you know.
Right.
So for the extra deck, I just use Dingirsu, one Harbinger, one number 97, which brings out your level 100, which is another win condition. If you clear board and you're able to get it out, you just OTK your opponent for 9k, and that's it.
Wow.
The other things I use are, for example, a Cyber Dragon, just in case of I'm going up against. If they make you send one card from your extra, just send it to bring out your,
okay. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Invoke Dogmatica.
Yeah, there you go, Dogmatica. Which is just a deck I really don't like. It's just that, I don't know, just if you don't let your opponent play, why play at all, right?
Right.
But
which is, I mean, I've trash tracked like one deck in particular, and I promised myself I'm not going to do it anymore. But there's a reason for that. It's because I can't play my game.
But
I mean, it's all right. People are going to do what they're going to do,
Yeah,
and it looks like you're figuring out ways to get around that, and
Yeah.
that's,
at least I'm trying.
Yeah.
Because, all for the sake of fun, though, And then send that to graveyard, bring your invoked out, and send your second one, pop a card on their field, and, just give him punishment for making you send cards to your graveyard,
Okay. Give him punishment without using Dogmatica punishment.
And then the last cards I use for the extra deck are just super poly targets, which is going to be your Starving Bed Infusion, your Mud Dragon, your Predaplant, which takes three dark monsters, and then the other Predaplant, which takes a fusion and a dark monster. So,
I actually just included that in my own deck this morning. I was like, that looks pretty good.
yeah. And then just for the deck that is trying to use the engine, just give him some hell and just Eldlich, just
Eldlich,
Yeah.
the Eldlich, what's what? Zombie Eldlich too.
yeah. So like just give him punishment for trying to play the deck. And then also for Invoke Knight, since it's still a deck that's real strong right now, even though people think that it doesn't have Smoke Grenade anymore, it's not good. But it is, because it still spams out. You can use this card right here to target one of their level 5, which is going to be their 3000 hitter monster, which takes one of your monsters and equips it to them, and then just use their Savage Dragon and just fuse them together and make your own dragon and just punish them for trying to play that deck as well.
Yeah.
And then the last card you're gonna use is Invocation for super poly targets. And that's just for invoke decks, Shaddolls, all that.
Right.
Just interrupt them and make your own play with their cards. And then the only Link monster I'm playing in this deck, Predaplant. Because if you want to see your super poly target, that's what you want. And you're always gonna have 2 to 3 monsters on the field, so you're always gonna be able to play it.
So pretty much you would just go into this, send Super Poly to the graveyard, and just get something out like this. Okay. Now if I'm assuming you may not have Dragoon, but if you had Dragoon, would you replace it? Like any one of these for Dragoon?
Not really, because a lot of the decks that are playing the deck are never gonna have a Dragon and a Spellcaster on the field, or a Dark Magician. So there's really no reason to do it. But with Verde Anaconda, what you can do is, let's say they have their Dragoon and they have their Dragoon, and somehow they don't have Verde Anaconda on the field. What you can do is use Anaconda's effect to make any other card on the field dark. So let's say you have a Kaiju on the field, and it's not a dark, you can go ahead and make it a dark, and then use Verde's Anacondas. So you're gonna bait out the Dragoon, make him negate, then go ahead and use Anaconda's effect to send Super Poly, and then just use both of them and make whatever card you can target in your extra deck. So I would definitely go for Starving Venom, so that even if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can just pop whatever they special summon next turn.
Okay.
So yeah, that's another way to out Dragoon.
Okay.
And with this deck, you're never gonna have a problem with outing Dragoon, because they're always gonna want to stop your surge, your draw, everything. So this is actually a good extra
Yeah, it's like Pot of Desires, negate, Pot of Desires, Ash. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and normal summon Gren Maju, you die.
And then my extra deck is just gonna be technically you just use Banquet of Millions. This is if you're gonna go first. So let's say you go first turn. Let's say you lose it. You can just put this in. If you draw it, set it. When your opponent tries to go into the extra deck, just banish your extra deck, and your Gren Maju next turn is gonna be big. You can set Gren Maju in defense, put this down, activate it, let them attack into your Gren Maju without an extra deck, and it's a fun troll. So. Well, the sad part is that their extra deck comes back at the end of the turn,
and you don't get yours back.
But still, they're gonna attack into 60k. 60k Gren Maju.
That's a ridiculous Gren Maju right there.
The other thing I play is Super Poly. So these are your generic ones. The Super Poly, you just side them in when you know your opponent is playing something you can target with your Super Polys. So once you know that, just side it in and have fun. That's all you're gonna do. So this is something I added for later on because of the Danger package, which was 3 alphas. So what I do is I'll special summon this, then special summon either Thunderbird or Bigfoot, and then activate its effect and just send whatever's on the field back to their hand. So any monster they have.
That's really good. Yeah. That's really good.
So I didn't cite it in today because I just wanted to play it fun, but if I had cited it in, I would have been laughing. So that's another thing we play. Another one, because we are playing Necroface and we do want to banish as many cards, I play Left Hand Down of the Offering, and we haven't played Pot of Desires. Just go ahead, banish your hand, get Pot of Desires. Let's say you already normal summoned Gren Maju. That's whatever you send to the banish zone. And let's say you have Necroface. Banish the Necroface, banish another 5 cards, and that's more beef for your Gren Maju. So
it's the name of the game. Get as much attack as you can.
Yep, that's what you can do. Since we do play cards that are banish, especially Dark Monsters, so you can banish your dangers. You play these 2 and just side them in. So you play Lord of Darkness. Lord of Darkness will let you draw 2, send let's say you can send Bigfoot, you can send Gizmek, Thunderbird. Just send them, activate, target them, bring them back, and you have a level 8 till you go into your rank 8 cards. And then the last card I use is Gold Sarcophagus, just in case you just want to turbo it out and get your Necroface into the banish zone and banish more. And, that's all you're doing, just having fun with, let's see how many cards I can have in the banish zone.
So, is there anything that you would want to change going forward?
Yes, probably take out the DDRs.
Okay.
And switch them out for, I don't know, maybe Infinite Impermanence, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, Infinite Impermanence is pretty strong right now.
Because you are going second. You want to go second, so your Infinite Impermanence are always going to be live, because you're never going to have, first turn, you're never going to have a card on the field. So that's something I would probably change more than likely. I know a lot of people are probably going to change the Left Arm of the Offering and the Gold Sarcophagus. But like I said again, that would be up to them. But definitely the Infinite Impermanence. Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Well, I definitely appreciate the deck profile. Is there any shout-outs you want to give or anything?
Just Don't Stop Anime and DC Comics, which I go a lot to have a lot of fun. Get to duels, just troll as much as I can. Because that's what it is, just a troll deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, man. And for everybody watching at home, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell. Give this video a massive thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.